It's a true story. In the realm of the deep, amidst the creatures of the sea, it's the emergence of something never seen, somewhat a deity between. Artfully define what that could mean, but controlling the science is only aliens convene. The sword-swinging warrior, an intellectual general, commanded 8 armies at the end of appendages in the physical, morphing, leaving enemies like a punctured inner tube. Something beyond imagination or even your worst dreams. A nightmare with iron fist plus nightmare with iron fist.
Hey guys, we are back with some more exclusive content. Today we're joined by Jake. Jake, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Finally, get to meet you virtually, in person-ish.
Yeah.
But following you around for about 2 years now. You've kind of became a staple in the Clink Room. So glad to finally get you on the show. So
thank you.
Welcome.
Good to be here. Like I said earlier, I'm a little bit nervous, but let's see how this goes.
Yeah, no, don't be nervous. No one's gonna see this.
Yeah.
A small humble channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I ask most of the clinkers that get on, like just let the people know, who are you, where are you from, and how long have you been doing art for?
So my name's Jake, in case the moniker couldn't really give it away, but I'm from Reno. I was born and raised here. I bounced around a little bit. Worked for a pretty large cell phone carrier in the area. Currently do too. They moved me to Hawaii at one point. I lived in Vancouver, Washington for a little bit, Bay Area, California, but I worked my way back to Reno. Folks and stuff are getting older. I've been kind of doing art, off and on all my life. I used to do it a lot when I was a kid and all through high school and stuff. After I got out of high school, I hadn't really done anything for 10 years or so. And when I first started working for the cell phone carrier, they one of the coworkers I had, he was like doing stuff with colored pencils in the back, and so I went over to Michael's and bought a bunch of stuff, and kind of started picking it up again. And it was really rough at first, but my buddy Anthony, he owns a tattoo shop here in town, and he's my best friend, so he spent a lot of time like coaching me on how to get better. I got pretty good with colored pencils, and then I kind of took it to Procreate. I met the Clink Room at one point, and because a buddy had sent me their page, and then I didn't know how to do anything with Illustrator, so I wasn't really bothering, making anything at that point. So when it came to, I was like, I had like a kind of idea as far as something I wanted to do, but I just kind of mostly taught myself how to use Illustrator just so I could kind of submit that design, and it was pretty rough. I think it wasn't even considered, but yeah, that's pretty much where it all started.
Cool. What are some of like the challenges moving from the medium that you're used to using and kind of shifting to hats? So like hats is like a different canvas altogether, So
Yeah.
what kind of things did you kind of have to face?
Yeah. So biggest thing for me was I had pulling a lot of detail out, really, because a lot of my paintings that I would do through like Procreate, I'm trying to get as like realistic as I can, or do as much gradients or like cool looking colors as I can. But then when it comes to a hat, like I got to pull really a lot out of that. I would try and submit stuff. I remember I would hit up Manny a lot. He was like almost kind of like a drill sergeant. He was like, no, you need to like do this, make it more bold, like stop doing it this way. And he was like, very forward with this. I was like, oh, okay. And then but by the time I finally got my first hat out, I told him, I was like, by the time I finally get one made, I'm going to send you the second one. And then finally got the saber cats made and send them off of that. And he's a pretty good dude. I like Manny a lot.
Yeah, I mess with Manny, man. Shout out to Manny out of Florida. I remember you stayed at it. So like your first couple of times, I think it was like the snake. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, the killer fellow.
Yeah, and I was like, there's so much I want to tell you, but I don't want to hurt your fire. So
no, dude, like
back and forth a couple of times, but
I think a lot of artists kind of need to learn how to take criticism, kind of harshly too, because too much we get a little sensitive over stuff deep down sometimes when we know something just doesn't look right, like we know it sucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, man, this is dog shit, like what am I doing? Whatever, I'll put it out anyway, maybe somebody will like it, or maybe I'm just overthinking it, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think putting it out there and then kind of getting that feedback is really what kind of helps, transform the artwork as well. So
Yeah, definitely. I one of my best friends, Pierre. We started the channel. Views from the Vault. He used to run an Apple store,
oh,
and he was telling me he likes to hire people from the art world because they're the type of personality that's used to hearing feedback and okay with taking it. There's a lot of different types of people who you'll tell something to and won't receive that information well. But he's like, but artists typically, like, it's no problem. Like, you could tell them anything and they don't take it personal. So I think that's one thing that you're kind of reiterating as well. Like, just if you say something about it, it's not ever personal. It's never an attack on you. So I think that's really important to say. But for yourself, like in terms of your creative process, like when you're working through like a new design, what are the steps that you kind of take to kind of move through that process? What typically, where does your inspiration come from, and how do you work through a design?
It's kind of tough. Like I feel like a lot of my style has to do with like I like the weird stuff. I like I like a lot of animals. I like stuff that looks kind of vicious, tattoo style. The creative spark is kind of tough really for me. A lot of guys, they don't have any problem putting out like 5 designs a week or whatever, but me, I'm lucky to get 1 or 2 out a month. I really got to have like something just kind of click and like a creative spark to just kind of like let a design start flowing. There's been a couple of them where I've just really been super passionate into it and I can finish it in like 4 hours. And then there's some of them that, they take like 2 weeks for me to kind of conceptualize because I'm just not really feeling it, or, it's just a really kind of slow burn. Typically what I'll do, I will kind of sometimes use like AI just to come up with like ideas for stuff. If I'm having a hard time kind of visualizing something, I would just, create an image of this just to kind of like show me like, okay, I could piece it together that way. I can put its hand kind of over here. I'll start off with kind of a rough sketch through Procreate, and I'll literally like just sketch over the same thing, like just constantly retracing the image like 10, 15 times if I need to, until I come out with like some kind of, a real base sketch of what I want. Very rarely does it come out like super quick with some of them, but I really start off with Procreate. I don't do the color stuff anymore with Procreate. I'll usually like do just the sketch and then take it over into Illustrator. Kind of just trace over it with Illustrator and put all the colors into it at that point. Because Illustrator is just a little bit cleaner to kind of get the colors as big as I want versus like, trying to like kind of mud everything up through Procreate.
AI is an interesting topic. So like, I think it's like a great tool for artists to use to see different levels of composition. So like, let's say you want to take a subject matter, samurai playing baseball, let's say, right? AI could spit you out like 60 variations of different poses. And then from there, you can see kind of how to cobble it together. It's just when you do it too much, that it becomes an issue, obviously.
Once you like straight rip the image, I think is where it kind of, you still have to have like some sort of creative effort with it, right? You can't just trace over something or, put it into a program to kind of turn it into your vector or, whatever it is they can do with that stuff nowadays. Cause it's going to get tougher too, I think. Cause, it's just going to get smarter as far as those programs go. And it's going to take a lot of, the personal touch out of stuff. And it's just going to be kind of bland, I think, at some point.
We're already seeing it in the media space where there's an extra box now. I don't know if you're aware of this, but like on YouTube, like when you upload a video, it asks you, are any elements in this video created by AI? Because it's already having trouble kind of deciphering like what's real and what's not real. And I think Netflix is come under fire recently for one of their true like crime story documentaries. What did Jennifer do? So the production company actually used AI to create pictures of the person like looking happy and stuff. It's like already you're kind of muddling your documentary. It's like now you're coming up with like fictitious stuff to portray someone in a way. So it's like the line is becoming way more and more gray. as we go. So I think right now we're just at the cusp of it. So
yeah,
interesting.
it's kind of probably a lucky thing that we're just at the beginning stages of it, because you know, from a geopolitical standpoint, it's probably going to be a pretty terrifying thing. But hopefully that's really far in the future.
Yeah, far. I mean, I've seen stuff where people are like nervous that like population is going to go down because like all these dudes are allegedly like paying for these like AI girlfriend experiences and stuff like that. And then it's like they don't even need like a real girlfriend now because they're just paying to. So well, whatever. We won't get into that stuff. But
that Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Yeah, but AI is definitely a thing. But in terms of your stuff, so that's interesting that you say that you've been influenced by your friend who's a tattoo artist, because that's one of the things I look at when I see some of your portfolio and some of your work. Like it's almost like built like a tattoo. So like bold outline, vivid color, you know, solid color fill. Even like those like Mickey Mouse hands, almost. Who's the artist I'm thinking of? OG Slick with like the Mickey hands, almost like it's you see a little bit of that influence there. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of it was, like I said, it was really tough to kind of adapt to like doing bold lines and stuff, and even still, like I kind of struggle with like trying to pull detail out of stuff. And now that I've pulled out so much detail of stuff, I see, you know, how you can get like that edge light effect by just doing kind of a dual tone, you know, with a darker color. And that's kind of probably one of my bigger struggles right now, is just kind of really trying to figure out that edge lighting effect, because I really love that. I think it looks like dope on a hat, like with the Conjurer's design that we did. I love how that edge light came out. That Coffee Rage that me and Cod did too. The original one that I sent him had like a darker cup on the you know, to kind of help that edge light kind of pop out, and I thought it looked really good. But Casey said he'll take a second look at it, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's cool. I always ask this to the artists too. Like, do you ever have a hard time kind of judging for your personal level, like which one of the hats that you've made are your favorite? Or
yeah, I would say I definitely have some favorites. You know, I guess we got to call it Wizard's work now. It's definitely on there. I like the toxic traits. I think the embroidery on that one came out really good. I think one of my top favorite ones was my snake bite one, because I really worked so hard at trying to get that one. You know, that was the one that started off as Kill a Fellow, and then I just you know, constantly kept changing it, and it went through like 3 different voting rounds before it finally made it. And you know, they kind of turned it into what it is. But I think that, you know, when that one originally came out, like it didn't sell that many, you know, of the original version. And I thought it was one of the, you know, not to kind of toot my own horn, but I always kind of think it's one of the most slept on, you know, versions of that hat. So that's definitely one of my favorites, just because I worked so hard to get that one made.
Yeah, I remember the different poses. Did you eventually turn it into a 2-headed snake? I think eventually.
No, I didn't have a. Oh, what was that one? I think I was trying to do a sketch where like there was a couple of like vipers going in on each other.
Right.
That one was just more. I just kind of kept trying to make it fatter, bigger lines. Made the head kind of bigger so that you could see the embroidery and stuff. Because I went and took when it was like the Kill a Fellow logo, I took it to lids and had them embroider it and stuff. A few people bought them, like 25 people bought them, you know, so I could hit the minimum. But after I had seen how the embroidery kind of comes out, that's where I was like, okay, well, I need to make a lot of changes to this. Like I can make it bolder here. I can make these areas larger. And that's what I constantly do too, is like, I'll look at when one of my designs kind of comes in versus the artwork that, you know, I put out. I look at how the stitching and stuff goes across in certain ways and how it kind of piles up on certain areas. So when I'm doing the design itself, I'll try and like imagine how it's going to come out with the embroidery. And that's been probably one of the toughest parts of learning this whole process.
Yeah, that's interesting. You went through lids and you kind of went through like the digitization process.
Awesome, maybe.
What you did and what you can do and the limitations of that. I mean, that's definitely something that I advise all artists to kind of get a hold of. And like I deal with it a lot on the other side, like the licensed product part, where people are just like coloring a side patch. Like, oh, well, why can't you do it like that? I'm like, well, you're looking at a digital rendering of it.
Yeah.
Try looking at what the hat looks like when it comes out. It doesn't look, just because you want one thing this color and another thing this color. I mean, yeah, okay, you're zooming in on your screen, could be whatever, however many inches, 36, 52, whatever, 20 something inches.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The actual hat's 2 inches, man. Like you gotta have the perspective of like,
yeah, the maximum like height that you can get if it's, you know, pre-production embroidery is like 2.5 or 3 inches or something like that. And that's why I started kind of eat up more, you know, out to the width of the hat now too, because it allows me to get a lot more of the artwork in there too.
Exactly. I mean, even like a simple tilting it, you know, you'll end up getting a couple more inches one way or another. But for you, in terms of like kind of balancing like your artistic vision on like what you want to do versus, you know, what's popular or what will get the votes, like what is there ever any struggle for you to kind of maintain that balance?
Man, yeah, like that's kind of where that whole creative spark comes in, right? Like I can draw random shit all day long, but like doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be like, you know, great, or I'm going to feel super passionate about it. I'll get like when I saw this thing, the guy that I was working with, he showed me like some just really rudimentary sketch that he had of this little mariachi mushroom character. He's like, can you make something like this? And I just instantly had like a spark for his little mariachi mushroom. And that's where I kind of created the design that I had later on submitted. And he was like all jacked and he was all excited to try and get it made and stuff and get the hat and everything. But when it kind of failed, but after I had made this one, I was like, oh man, that was like just like a instant spark with the, you know, putting the glow in the dark and stuff. Just all the elements of it just kind of like fell into place just so perfectly for the image itself. And when I was in between jobs when the payday hit for this thing, I didn't think it was going to do that great. And it pretty much gave me like 2 months worth of, you know, a payout to where I could like stay afloat again and, you know, not have to worry about paying the bills that month. And I was like eternally grateful to Casey at that point. Like,
that's amazing.
I was super excited, and that kind of reignited the spark for me to keep trying to submit and, you know, making this as like a side hustle kind of thing.
Nice. Are there any like trends or themes you kind of noticed that's happening or becoming popular that kind of work their way into your art style?
The Mickey hands have definitely been like, okay, cool. I don't know what it is. Like I've always kind of had a thing. I like hand poses and stuff.
Right.
Like what was the Steve Ditko and, you know, all those old comic book artists, and they would do like the Doctor Strange, like kind of reaching out. And I was like, how can I make that like fat, chubby little fingers that would look good on embroidery? And you know, it was always kind of like the Mickey hands thing. And that's, I mean, that's just kind of how it looked. I was like, oh yeah, those still look pretty dope. You know, like those little poses and stuff that they have, even though they only have like 3 fingers. That one that we just kind of submitted, the lightning bottle. The pinky kind of looks a little funky to me. I'm sure I can fix it up. I don't know. Casey said at some point it'll get in there. We'll see.
Nice. Kind of how do you work with navigating the intersection between like fashion and art, particularly like when you're working in the context of hats?
Between what and art?
Like fashion and making it like a wearable piece of art.
I don't know. I kind of like, I tend to like a lot of blues and like you know, maroon, teal kind of mixed with that stuff. I think that kind of colorway looks good. I don't know if I never necessarily like notice trends like that because I still consider myself pretty new and amateur at this, right? So I mostly just kind of create stuff that I think kind of looks cool, colorways that I think are, you know, going to match really well. Half the time when I submit my colorways, they end up getting changed by Casey and the team. So it's like, what does it matter, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to kind of, I think at some point, like one of the kind of lessons that I learned with, you know, the submission with Cod on the Coffee Rage was that, I mean, it was cool like having the teal and stuff on the hat, but I felt deep down that the hat should have been brown the whole time, and, you know, a little bit of a light colored under with a darker brown like brim, just to kind of make it look like, you know, coffee with cream in it kind of a thing. But you know, we'll see how it ends up. I kind of, like I said, Casey said he was going to rework it for me, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm. A lot of like the work we see now is collaborative efforts between like either like concept artists with artists or even artists on artists. You're seeing a lot of like people kind of come together and kind of share work or work collaboratively. Like, are there any like dream collaborations for you to get together with either like a concept artist or even like an artist, I guess?
Yeah. COD was definitely one of my kind of goals to get to work with. When I sent him like my sketch for the Copy Rage design, I kind of knew instantly. I was like, oh, he's gonna like this, but it was a really rough kind of like shitty sketch, so I didn't know if he was gonna pick it up because he's shot down like a few of them that I've sent him in the past. And yeah, I was excited for the sketch that he had come out with, that he had kind of refined for me, and he was definitely one of the ones that I was kind of after. I'd really love to do something with Casey. Casey's a cool guy. I like working with him a lot, and I'd love to kind of collaborate with something on him for sure. I like working with Pat. Creature Zoid's also a good guy to kind of work with. He's good for ideas for sure. He's got a shitload of ideas just piled up, like ready to go. Yeah. Anytime I need some, an idea, he's got something for me.
Yeah, for sure. I think a little birdie told me that your Rippers is going to ship soon, so keep an eye out.
My what?
The Rippers is going to ship soon.
The Rippers. Which one was that? Oh, nice. I forgot about that. Dang, dude. I forgot that was still on, still getting made. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for tracking information. That was going to ship very, very soon.
Sweet.
So, yeah, man. Thanks for doing that. That was awesome. Let's kind of cover the week's happenings now. So
yeah,
we had a new fresh colorway drop. So this is called the Legacy drop. This one had a little bit of back and forth. I don't know if you're following, but with the Ghost Army and stuff like that. So the wrong date got published on that. So they're ordering pins to cover the 23 and turn into a 44. And then the proceeds are going to go to the Wounded Warrior Project. So shout out to Casey for doing that. Nice. And then in honor of I believe it's either 42 or 44, it will be priced. It will be a lower price too. So I want to say it's 44, but yeah. So they noticed the mistake, they corrected it, they made it lower, and it's gonna come with a pin too. So shout out to Casey for doing that. And the Wounded Warrior Project, it's a great cause. So aside from that, so we had the Ghost Army, the Neon Florida Flamingos, and then Sukanarami by Tim and Aurelian. Any thoughts on these three?
Yeah, I like the Ghost Army with the that kind of brownish tan color, and the teal
like a rust.
Looks really good. Pops out there. I've always been a big fan of the Neon Florida one. I love how they make it look like it's kind of glowing. Yeah. I've got an LA hat that has like a kind of like a chromatic aberration type effect. I'd be really interested to see if they come out with something like that at one point with that logo. I do like the original version of the Sakuranami logo. I like this one's cool. I just feel like the cherry blossoms are a little too desaturated. Maybe it'll look better in person. But I'd maybe like to see a little bit more of a pink color in that part of it. But overall, I think my favorite would be like the Neon Florida Flamingos.
Yeah, that one's like an awesome Clink project. I still remember when it launched in when 2.0 came back.
Yeah, that was when I was first starting to submit, was when that logo first came out.
Yeah, it's an awesome concept. I think like they asked for like a name contest and everyone said flamingos, but then the owner didn't want the team to wear pink, so they ended up doing the lions. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, this is great. Sukanarami, like that one, it's been retroed so many times recently. I think that's like the only hiccup I think that people are having with it, and yeah, the contrast could be bumped up a little bit. Anytime you put pink with white and silver, it's like three colors that look so damn close.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
they're going for almost like that ghost effect kind of a thing, but the just like I don't know, even just like a shade darker for the pink. Like even the white on the silver is not that bad. It's just like a shade darker for the pink, I would say.
Yeah. I like this pack for that, like the reason that, like, you know, some people don't like the side patches, but at least these side patches match the logo.
I think the side patches are kind of dope, like because I like side patches on, like, you know, the MLB hats and stuff, but I like it more in this sense just because it's, you know, everything's kind of more unique, right? Like it's not, it's catered to the hat rather than, like, you know, an overall baseball team or like a stadium or, you know, because all the baseball hats always kind of look like, you know, the same type of side patch almost.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so those are the first 3 in the legacy pack, and then we got Seventh Eating Seagulls, the Tree of Life, Yggdrasil. Man, I'm butchering all the words. Sunbirds. To me, that's the Tree of Life. So whatever. Any thoughts here?
I like I said, I like those teals. So Yggdrasil is a great one. I do like the colorway on that. Seventh Inning Seagulls. I like the side patch. The seagull for me, I don't know. It just kind of seems a little bit just like a plain pose, like you could see anywhere, right? It's probably like a popular design itself, but I don't know. I like it more when they got a little more character to them. Sunbirds is cool. I always think that's kind of like a dope logo. I think that one kind of suffers a little bit from that you know, desaturated colors effect within the bird, because I know that there's some really cool like pattern and stuff inside of that bird that I wish would have been kind of brought out a little bit more.
Yeah, I think like for legacy, I'm sorry, for Sunbirds, like if you just made the bird all white, it wouldn't be as bad. But the desaturation, you see it really heavy on the side patch there. Like the colors they use, it almost makes it look sun faded.
Yeah.
But I think like if you did something like that, but then made the hat like more of like a faded color, it could be kind of cool. Like just like like a fake aged process almost.
Yeah.
But to have like such a bold red and then have everything be so,
that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah,
like
the red itself is a little saturated for the rest of the logo. Like maybe just like a little bit of a like a faded look or like a chrome white or something on the hat, or, you know, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of hard with that. it's a good, like the logo itself. I love that logo. Maybe like just more saturation on the teal and the orange in there. I don't know if that's what these got going on. It's hard to kind of see.
Yeah. I don't know what it was, but yeah, 2 of them definitely, and they both fell in the same place on the slides. The 2 far right ones were definitely kind of washed out a bit. But
is that Tree of Life? Is that one gonna glow? That one glows too, doesn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so. I mean, that was like the hat of the year almost unanimously.
Yeah.
Sales wise,
it look cool if it glows too.
Yeah, Strong Roots. That's a cool patch. I don't know. That Seagulls one it looks real cool to me, man. I'm a sucker for bird hats too, because I'm a Blue Jay fan and I like stuff like that. There's just such a-holes in real life. They really will steal your fries. Get on your hair.
It's like I think it's the California state bird too. Is
it?
Yeah. I think that would make sense because I think that's the Bay Bridge, isn't it? Or
Yeah. They're known just cause a mess in San Francisco. Like
we got them all over Reno and stuff too. They just hang out in parking lots.
yeah. Same in Toronto. They're everywhere. Them and pigeons just cannot get rid of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall it's a solid pack. I like the side patches. Like if it adds to the design, I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah.
Typically stores charge you more to buy a side patch. This isn't the case here. I see a lot of discourse around some of the groups saying that they should just offer pre-orders with and without. I just think that'd just be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, it's like this is extra shit to have to order, and for like the off chance that 50%
send the wrong one
and 50% order the other. It's like now you got a bunch of extra hats probably sitting there that nobody ordered.
Yeah, it just seems like a mess, but hopefully.
I think a lot of the criticism that Clink Room gets is like completely undue too, because like people just don't think about that aspect of the logistics and what's behind like getting stuff made.
Yeah, I mean I get it. Like you pay your money and you want to have your opinion said and whatever, but like at some point it becomes a little too nitpicky and stuff. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion, I guess. But yeah, like you said, just try to be a little bit more fair with the criticism.
I think everybody says that you should work in the service industry at least once in your lifetime. I think everybody needs to try and work out a contract with New Era at least once in your lifetime.
Yeah. Don't get me started. I love you, but I hate you at the same time. But yeah, all right, cool. So that's the fresh colorway pack. Let's go through and talk about the last call. So these next 6 designs are up for pre-order until midnight tonight, and then they go into production. So we got the Harshmallow by Josh, Fish Tank by Phil, Gemini, and Creature, and then Florida Palms by Rafael. What are your thoughts here?
I really like the Harshmallow.
Yeah, I love
that reminds me of what was it? Hat Club in 2020 when they brought out
my God
pack or whatever it was. Those are pretty dope. I like that. They look at the pins almost that they came out with for those.
Oh, the campfire. Yeah,
the campfire pack. It's a cool colorway. I really like the character design with that one. Fish Tank's not bad. The color on the crown itself, I'm not like a big fan of. I feel like that's a little bit drab. That would have been cool. Maybe like a blue or something, kind of match like for like an ocean color.
Yeah.
The goldfish is cool. I like the tank and the bowl. I just got the whole premise
Fish
of that.
tank? Yeah,
I get it. Wow, that went way over my Florida Palms is dope. I like that. Again, I think the teal needs to be a little bit brighter on that one.
Yeah.
Just kind of be that Miami, like super bright. But I get it though too, it's a sunset kind of a thing. So I think either way that one's gonna come out dope.
Yeah. The Harshmallow I love because it's like almost like one of those characters that Hat Club used for their campfire pin set.
Yeah.
But then it also combines it with the Halloween colorway of like the Glow My Gods, like the black with the orange. So it's almost like a combination of two of their kind of like staple colorways.
Yeah.
Fish Tank is awesome. I would have just a small thing. I would have just put the bubbles on the other side of the thing. Just like have that like little I guess that turret part of the tank, have the bubbles kind of coming out. But other than that,
I was just thinking that too, like where they're kind of like, floating up out of it or something, like almost like it was smoke, like a smoking barrel.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's a small nitpicky thing, but it's still awesome.
It gives it movement though too, so that's why the bubbles aren't bad right there either. So
yeah, totally. And then Florida, I'm with you. Solid design. It is interesting. He almost like combined like the Marlins teal with like that Miami Heat like Vice beetroot kind of color. With the pink. Just solid.
I think that outline is going to be looks like it might be like a metallic gold. Yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
They're probably gonna raise it too.
That'll stand out pretty well.
Yeah. Shout out to Rafael. Rafael's gonna be the feature on next week's show too. So
nice.
Preview for everyone. Milos Has Fallen Titan, Attached to the Hip by Jason V, and Cocoa Gods by COD and Sierra. What are your thoughts here?
I like the Fallen Titan one. I feel like it's going to get a little bit smaller than what they kind of have on that mock-up right there.
Okay.
Might pull a little bit of the detail out of it, but overall, like that's a killer logo. I would say it's hard too. Like the gray's not bad, but I feel like that kind of pulls a little bit of the detail in the grays in the hat out. But it's hard to judge what color you would use to kind of replace that with. Attached at the hip, it's a great logo. I feel like there's a lot of ice cream stuff already out. But it's getting ready to be summertime. So maybe that'll be a good one to come out with. But the artwork itself is pretty dope. I like that. And then Cocoa Gods is great. I like Sierra Gonz's logos all the time. His stuff. He always comes out with cool stuff. Yeah, him and Cod. Yeah.
It's interesting. Cocoa Gods has two different like greens and teal. So it's like that kind of vice blue at the top, but then almost like slime green. I
really like the edge light on that one too, like the way it kind of like reflects the lighting on the edge of the chocolate bars and the the cocoa beans kind of floating around. It's almost like he's juggling it.
Yeah. Solid. So yeah, I mean, this is a solid week, man. I don't know. I think Harshmallows is like my overall favorite, but all in all, I think just a really solid week all around.
Yeah, Harshmallows is really dope. Attached to the hip, I would say, man, that's a tough. I would say like maybe number 3 because I know that's going to embroider really well too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
How
too.
thick those lines and stuff are. It's going to look really good when it comes out.
Yeah, that's one of those when you see it, you don't think it's that impressive, but then when you see it embroidered out, you might be like, man, why did I pass on it?
It's going to be a slept-on hat, I think.
Yeah, but all right, cool. And then we had a shock drop, getting ready for I guess 4th of July festivities, but we got Omar on the side here. But yeah, this is like a eagle. What do you think of this one?
I think it looks cool. I really like the dark navy blue with the eagle in the middle there. I'm not a big fan of like the baseball themes. I don't put a lot of baseball stuff in my designs typically. I'm just not I'm not a sports guy. I have like a bunch of baseball hats. People go, hey, yeah, go A's or go Dodgers all the time. I'm like, yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
But the overall, like, this is a cool logo. I like the Clink Room's like side patch logo that they kind of put on these things. You know, anything that they're kind of putting out like that, where it's just like a shock drop one-off. I think that's cool. Like the fresh colorways having their own side patches, you know, and that are kind of unique to them. I think this is kind of cool to like have like something uniform, you know, Clink brand. Like you can tell this is like a brand kind of thing.
Yeah. So they're getting this out. You have this in your hand before Memorial Day, so that's kind of cool.
I like that their turnaround time now has been like, you know, because people the last like 2 years, you know, we're just dying for hats, and then now they've got all this stuff that's like shock drops and colorways and everything is dropping. It's nice to be able to get stuff in hand, you know, almost immediately now.
Yeah. There's less guesswork too, right? So like something like this, you already know how it's going to embroider. You already know what it looks like, so you're not going to have to worry about, you know, is it going to get approved? Is it illegal? You know, do anything to it? You know, how long am I have to wait? Like you'll just get this hat in a couple days, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, one thing I would say I would have liked to see other than like the baseball bat, since it is you know, something artistic, like, you know, maybe like a pencil or something. You know,
oh yeah, just be more on brand, kind of.
But I don't know that. But you know, baseball in America though too. I guess a pencil would look kind of weird there. Never mind.
America's pastime. Yeah,
take it back.
Yeah. All right. I mean, solid hat. I don't remember what the original was colored like, but this one just seems way more patriotic. So
yeah, it looks good. I like the dark blue.
Yeah, good job here. And they're continuing their trend with white buttons. I like that. Just, you know, it's just a little different, you know. Just break up the mono hat there a little bit. But all right, so moving forward. So we're gonna get into the Monday Morning Critz. Just so you know, there were a lot of good submissions this week, so they could not limit it to 10. This is gonna be the first week in a long time where it's actually gonna be 15. And some of them are gonna have glow options too. So I've randomly eliminated 5. So 5 will be a complete surprise tomorrow. So we'll only cover 10. All right. I've already done the liberty of eliminating the 5. So first and foremost, we got Phantom by Creature and Rick. So this one looks like it's going to be glow. So obviously the white will be glow. And this one looks pretty damn solid. So what are your thoughts here?
I like this one. It'll definitely come out really nice. You know, it's obviously it's going to come out raised. I like the shadow that they did on the bottom there too. Gives it like a, you know, really nice sense of depth. And I think, you know, the glow in the dark on that's going to really look cool. I think later on, you know, they're going to probably come out with like a different variation of it. You know, if they can do, you know, like that chromatic aberration effect. I love that, where it's like kind of trips out your eyes a little bit. I think that would be a perfect logo for that too.
Yeah, Rick does this thing where he hates using like black in hats. So like that fill there, it looks like it's like one shade off or something. But the shadow itself looks like it's black, but
it's almost like a dark charcoal crown or something.
Yeah,
black.
Yeah, Rick has a thing where he likes to make it a little bit off, and I think it's cool. And then his like his less is more kind of style. Yeah, it's almost like a Mario character meets like a Pac-Man character, and it's just a real like a fun design. I think he nailed this one.
I think one thing I would like to see, like with these hats that are like so dark, you know, where it's just all one solid color black, would be just adding a little bit of color, like on that UV, you know, like a neon green or something like that. I think
like a Volt,
they would pop out. Yeah,
Cool.
Something to kind of like give you a hint that it glows in the dark, you know?
Nice. All right, cool. So that's hat number 1. Hat number 2, blow your mind. Creature's back. This time with Phil. This is a little science project.
This is cool. I like this one. When I saw this one was when they submitted this, I thought it looked really cool. I think those bubbles are going to probably be a little bit hard to kind of embroider inside of the volcano itself. But overall, like the artwork itself is phenomenal. It's got really good depth. I like the shading and the solid color shadows that they're using on there. I like the pinkies up kind of thing. Reminds me of like that Birdcage movie. I just watched that just recently. I do like this logo a lot. I think this one will definitely get made for sure.
Yeah, it's got the vinegar and the baking soda. Just so much personality anytime Phil's involved, like with the characters. He's like the master at cartoons and stuff. This one's
dope.
Awesome.
I like this one a lot.
Awesome. All right, moving forward. Primal Fury Ring Studio. What do you think?
I like this. The arm is a little bit kind of skinny right underneath the chin, I think, but overall, like the bear looks like super vicious. It almost kind of like freaks you out a little bit, just like it's like the whole man bear thing.
Yeah.
But the lighting is really cool. The shadows are good. The reflection on the axe in the back there is really cool too. The UV is a little bit of a miss, I think, but overall, like the artwork itself is phenomenal too.
Yeah, it's like a Vegas gold under burnt wood and rust. I think the top color choices are awesome.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I would just get rid of the Vegas gold under.
It's hard to kind of imagine what you would pick for that. Maybe just like a green or something for the UV.
Green or gray for me. Yeah.
Almost like a foresty kind of thing, right? Like you're gonna go hiking with this hat.
I'm with you though. I'm a little bit weirded out with the humanoid features and the arms and the hands. Like if you're gonna go like that, I almost would rather you just have it be like a dude swinging an axe that's wearing a bear skin or something. Like.
Oh yeah, like he's got like the hood,
Conan or something. Yeah,
that'd be cool. Or
or
even if it was like bear paws and like more kind of look like the bear's arms, kind of swinging the axe.
Yeah. But like anthropomorphic?
Yeah, like what was those? What were those books back when we were kids?
Animorphs, man.
Yeah.
I loved Animorphs as a kid.
Those things were weird. That and I couldn't watch Are You Afraid in the Dark? I was a scared little kid when I was. I tried to play like Tomb Raider, and you hear those wolves coming.
Oh man, those wolves were nasty.
We were running the other way.
Yeah, Primal Fear. All right, Win, good job. I love the colorway up top though, but I'm with you though.
Yeah, I like the gray, kind of Halloween red or orange and black kind of theme. Always looks good.
Yeah, that looks like a dark brown to me. Like
almost like a chocolate or like that walnut kind of color.
Yeah. You did a great job. All right. Fire Foul by Dupi Gusto. I don't think I'm familiar with this work, so I'm gonna look them up as you talk about it. So what are your initial thoughts here?
This is a new guy for sure. I like that. I mean, the lines are definitely thick enough. Like you could tell he kind of knows what he's doing. He's not like super amateur. The logo is really dope. The colorway of the actual hat itself. I'm not a big fan of like a bright orange hat. I would say like maybe just like the UV and a little bit of a darker hat. And then like with the bill and the kind of orange feathers that he's got going behind the neck there, it's hard to like. Would that be just like a transparent or would that be actual stitching? I would say overall, I think the eye itself is cool. I know Casey kind of has a thing with when you have little pieces of lines kind of sticking out on areas, because the threading itself will just like bind up and kind of like pile up in those little spots like that. But other than that, like just those little tiny details like that, it's a good logo. I like the duck's eye a lot, the kind of glowing effect. I'd like to see maybe the eye a little bit bigger and a little bit more kind of like angled out, like it's kind of like mean, kind of a look. But I think it's kind of cool.
I almost wish the duck was just slightly bigger and I would just have it come out the circle a little bit more.
Yeah, like almost kind of give it that 3D effect, like it's coming up out of it.
Yeah, just
I like
protrude
that
out.
look a lot with like logos too. It gives it
Yeah.
more depth.
Exactly, just a little bit. Maybe have the hair kind of flare out at the top. Maybe have the beak come out and just break that kind of pain, so it's just less of just, hey, here's a circle. Like have the thing kind of be bold. It's interesting. So I looked up their accounts. Got 5 followers, following 4, and their description is, as a ghost designer, I craft visual masterpieces anonymously, letting my art speak for myself. So
this must
maybe
be
they're going against the grain a little bit, but
it must be one of those people that was it the Monday Evening Critz guys are kind of like talking about, where they're people making ghost accounts for the sake of like submitting new stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I thought that they were talking
the
about
name kind of matches it, right? I mean,
yeah,
kind of makes sense at that point.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see who this is. Maybe he's gotten shunned in the past or something.
Maybe. Oh yeah, right. And it's coming back as a new person. I have no clue. I thought that they were talking about, when I saw that post, they were talking about just people making burners to just come in and comment like me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this could be what they were talking about actually.
I think everybody kind of does that to an extent, you know, or they got their own little other accounts that they go and kind of vote for their own stuff on. Like if you're not doing that, come on, who you kidding? Like I get people at my work. I go, yo, let me see your Instagram. I'm gonna go vote on my stuff.
Allegedly.
Yeah. I mean, that's yeah.
All right, that's number 4. Number 5. Let's see, Zen Garden, Seamus and Gemini triplets. So these are like those calming Japanese things, right? With the rakes and stuff. Yeah. This is cool.
I like the shadows on this a lot. I think this is going to look kind of cool. It's going to have a lot of like really raised parts on it.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably, by the time you go to embroider it, like maybe pull those shadows out, just because like with it being raised, it's going to already have that. You're going to see that shadow just based off of whatever light's hitting it at any moment. So you probably don't really need that brown, but I get like, you know, for the voting sake, like you're going to have to illustrate that in some way. And I think, you know, when you do that with like a logo, that's not necessarily like a bad thing either. Like, you know, you can add extra details in it that are going to get pulled out of it later on, because, you know how it's going to look a certain way, you know, after it's embroidered with those shadows. Those rocks, I think if they can get some kind of like textured 3D effect off of those, like, you know, raised up, I think that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, he's like a master at just coloring shit and drawing stuff with no outline. Like I'm always amazed by his work.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like
he's always like testing the boundaries of what can be done.
I have a hard time on doing outlines.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's something that you're just so like drilled into your head, like outline. Like let it, like, hold the color, and he just is like, nah, I'm not doing none of that. So,
yeah, he's just letting the 3D effect of itself is pretty much going to speak for itself. Because I couldn't see them putting that extra like brown as a shadow in there, but just the fact that it's going to be raised up is probably going to give it enough of that shadow once it's actually.
He's really going to test like what they can do.
Yeah, New Era is probably going to have fun with it. Like,
it's like really textured and stuff, and super rare. That'd be like such a sick design, like. Not just like visually. I mean, visually it does look cool, but that technically, like if they could pull this off, like that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope. It's going to be a definite like pre-order. Excited to see how that one comes out.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So number 6. Oh, Ancient Graffiti. Heather, the green one. What are your thoughts on this one?
Dude, she's come around a lot.
Miles.
It's crazy, like what she's been able to do. I think this is going to look really well. I like the face on that dog. I think I don't know what that neck piece thing that they got going on is called, but I think there's maybe a little bit too thin lines, too small a space in there. Maybe thicken those up and kind of put a few less inside of that part of it. And then I think overall, like it's going to look cool though, because like those runes in the background, if they do those raised too, that's going to give it some cool texture. I really like the eyes on the dog. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
And the ears look with the shading of how it kind of gives it that 3D effect looks really cool too.
You know what's so interesting about her style now is like that she almost doesn't have a style. Like you can't tell like that's a Heather piece, and I mean that in a good way. Like she's such a diverse artist now that like she can kind of just adapt to the style that's needed for the design.
Yeah.
And it's almost unrecognizable from what she was submitting before, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think like, you know, as artists too, like it's really hard to kind of really develop your own style. Like I really envy guys that have the ability to just have that kind of like definitive, like this is him, this is her kind of a style.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for myself, like my style can kind of vary from time to time, you know, just based off of what I'm doing. But like for her, like from what she was first submitting to this is like night and day difference. It's crazy how she's been able to kind of turn herself around with it.
And that's tribute to her just grinding and working and submitting. Like I almost wanted to like pull her to the side and be like, hey, if it's like not done, like just don't submit it. Like just, you know.
Yeah,
but,
some of her earlier stuff, man, she was just like left and right.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you know, she's taking the extra time to kind of get this stuff finished, and you know, you can tell that the effort's actually there.
Yeah. That's one thing you cannot take away from her, that the hustle and the effort and the drive to succeed. You see it in the art, and it's awesome, man. It's fucking awesome to see.
Shout out to my fellow Nevadan down in Vegas, definitely. 8 hours away.
definitely. Shout out to her. All right. Phil's back. Headhunters.
Oh, this is cool. I like this.
The shrunken head, and yeah, this one's so cool.
I like the ponytail. I wish it was kind of maybe not so far to the left, maybe more a little bit tilted for the head itself.
Okay.
The earrings are cool. I like that. I almost kind of thought it was like a Frankenstein thing where those were like the bolts in the neck, but then I was like, earrings. Right. Okay. I like the character. I like the face and the eyebrows, how they're kind of, it's really like a very bubbly kind of like little zombie character. I think it looks
yeah. He's almost happy to be shrunken.
And then he did the you know, super light colored button there, and then, you know, with the rest of the dark hat, he's got that, you know, green under to kind of bring it out, like I was saying earlier too. You know, I like that variation when they have so much like desaturated or, you know, muted color, and then you have like one bright thing kind of popping out. Like that helps it out a lot, I think. Yeah,
this is almost like a typical like Clink Room hat. Like it doesn't have to be a crazy story. It's just fun, goofy, cool art.
Yeah,
you know, a unique piece.
It's a cool logo that's going to be something, you know, you're walking somewhere and somebody's going, oh man, that's a cool hat. And there you go.
Exactly. Yeah, like rad hat. Like you're not going to see anyone wearing this. You're not going to bump into anyone wearing this, which is cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really like what brought me to Clink Room too, is like, you know, people talk to me, stop me, ask me, I'm like, oh dude, that hat's cool. And you know, where'd you get it? It's like, oh, I designed it. And then I get, sometimes it's a little bit because I'm like in the middle of doing something, and then I got to like go into this big long thing about, you know, I'm the one, I do the artwork for it and how I submit them. And but other than that, like it's you know, it's I really like doing it. It's really cool wearing these hats. Having people talk to you about them.
Yeah. And then if you ever do bump into anyone wearing a Clink Room hat, it's like a big thing. Like say, hey man, you know.
I think I saw somebody driving around with an El Triste hat one day. I was like, what? No, like it was but I can't remember like where it was. I think it was in California when we were over in the Bay Area.
That's funny. Definitely. Yeah, you definitely have to honk at someone if you see someone driving.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, all right, cool.
It's like the motorcycle guys give each other the wave.
All right. So when Studio back again, so Shaka. What are your thoughts here?
I like this one. It kind of reminds me of some of the artwork that we would see a lot over in Maui. So I don't know. I don't want to like call out like unoriginality or anything like that. I just feel like this has kind of been done a lot. There's a lot of you know, local Hawaiian. There's actually a local Hawaiian fitted brand in Oahu. They haven't necessarily done something like this, but they would do a lot of stuff that's, you know, similar like this.
There's a bunch of them, right? Like
I do love Hawaiian designs, but I would say like I'm not super in love with this one just because I've probably seen this like so many other times, like living in Hawaii and stuff.
Yeah, there's so many of those brands.
I like the chrome white. I like the teal under on it. I just wish it was maybe a little bit of a different like fill on it than the pattern, because I feel like a lot of that's going to get kind of like lost in the details of the embroidery too.
Yeah, it's almost like he took that floral pattern and just used a clipping mask and put like a general image, which, you know, like it's cool. This will sell though if it made it.
It would, yeah.
But yeah, you're right though. It reminds me of like a lot of those brands like 808 and Fitted Hawaii and a lot of those kind of local brands and stuff like that. So it's one of those things you want to make sure that doesn't feel too much like appropriation and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I have no idea. He could be Hawaiian for all I know. I don't
That's
know.
one thing that with my designs too. Like I would do like a lot of like early like Hawaiian designs, but yeah, it's like that appropriation thing where you almost kind of like feel guilty for doing something like that too. But yeah, he might, you know, who knows what
He
kind
could
of
be Hawaiian or Samoan for all we
usually
know.
when I do like a Hawaiian thing, it's, you know, I want to do it because I want to donate money to, you know, some sort of charity over in Hawaii or something like that. Because there's a lot of people that it's rough to live over there, you know, for locals, because it's, you know, a lot of their houses get bought up and they can't afford to even live there.
So
So
expensive to live there, yeah.
you know, anytime I would do like a Hawaii design, I would just want to donate the money for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, cool. That's when. Then we got the Artemis. So Milos. So this one, obviously you got like the deer, reindeer looking thing, and then in the glow in the dark, it looks like a woman. So, what are your thoughts here? I
like this a lot. I like how the glow in the dark kind of like, I like that hidden image kind of stuff when they do that.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of changed the antlers a little bit from what he originally submitted, I want to say. Because it was kind of there was some weird like crossing and stuff going on in the first variation of it. I could be mistaken though. I don't know if I'm like thinking about something else. But overall, like I like this design. I like the colorway for the hat too. I would like maybe a different under on there, but other than that, like I like the artwork. I think it's cool when they do that kind of ghost image where it like glows in the dark and stands out.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're almost getting like two hats in one. I like
yeah,
that
exactly.
Like,
I think the glow in the dark stuff's kind of rough though too, because it's like, you know, by the time it's dark out, your hat's not really glowing.
Yeah, you have to activate it. Like
yeah, you're like carrying around a black light with you. Like, check it out.
Yeah, one of these. Yeah, you get a little black light on it, but
yeah,
but for me, I like the hidden factor of it. It's just rad. Yeah, I got nothing bad to say about this.
I don't have anything negative on this one.
Yeah, Milos keep killing it, man. Solid artist. All right, and last but not least, Gabe.
This one's cool. I like he's
back with Raven Paradox.
The moon itself, I would like maybe like a different color or just different like kind of lighting effects maybe on it. I like the outline with like the rose and how it's like kind of got that dark black, you know, and teal outline going on. I feel like that would look really well with like if that gray is like a silver, like a metallic silver outline. But the only thing I would say is just that the color of that moon matching too much. It's like it's too big of an area to be that teal, I would say. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would almost just go white with that and then just darken that crow raven thing.
Yeah, or maybe do like the moon as like a glow in the dark piece or something, you know, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Since we got so much glow in the dark going on this week.
I feel like these kind of colors are now becoming kind of trendy, right? So you got the teals, the lavenders, and then the rust. We're seeing a lot kind of play through, but you know, I mean, that's kind of like on trend right now. But it's undeniable. It's a great color, like that Tiffany blue kind of color with the thing. So yeah, it's an interesting design for sure. By Gabe, but yeah. That takes us to the end. So there'll be an additional 5 that you'll see Clink Room post tomorrow that we didn't get to cover.
That's cool.
But that's just showing you the strength of what's being submitted right now, man. Like they can't even narrow it down to 10. Yeah, they had to go 15.
When I first started following them too, like they were at what was it, like 20 or 30,000 followers or something. And now, like let's see, what are they at now? Like they got to have like a pile of them now. I think it was like 70-something thousand.
That's crazy.
Dude, even if like just 10% of those people are like ordering hats, like that's a shitload of hats that they're
73. I think before they started, like before they came back for 2.0, I think they were like 5 or 6K.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, because like the 1.0 thing happened like with like what happened? Because I only came in at the 2.0, so I never really knew much of like the history pre 2.0 stuff.
So basically, the whole thing was founded. So Casey and Jason are partners. They founded Brandio Studios right out of college. So they had wrote to 650 teams and started a studio. Like, hey, could we rebrand you? You know, or out of college. One team hit him back, and that's the West Tennessee Diamondbacks, and that's how their whole story starts. So they end up growing and renaming probably 3,000 teams. I don't even know if that's an actual number, but like hundred. We'll just say hundreds, right?
Yeah.
So I think they went to a trip to Hawaii. We're talking a lot about Hawaii, but they went on a trip to Hawaii, and they had talked to one of the big macadamia nut producers,
Oh, okay.
manufacturers, whatever. Yeah. So that's one of the biggest exports, macadamia nuts from Hawaii. So that company eventually figured out that they could take like the crumblings, like the ones they couldn't sell as whole like pieces, and sell those to cookie manufacturers and just make more money. Like that became more valuable. The stuff that they were throwing out and not fit for sale became the biggest part of their business. So they started thinking like, hey, what's our macadamia nut shavings? Like what is that? And they started figuring all of the teams that they would pitch and sell them ideas and concepts or whatever, the stuff that they didn't pick, like that was their shavings. So they would present like concepts to teams like, you know, Lakeland Tigers. Here are like 20 Lakeland Tigers logos. They'll pick their ones that they like the best, but those might not be the best logos. So the Clink Room got launched on all rejected logos from all these teams. So the first like bunch of them, they put them on like cork bottom hats, and they limited them to I think like 144 pieces. So if you have any of the original ones, yeah, that became like their thing. So I think eventually, like they launched that brand as an offshoot to Brandio Studios. So the Clink Room was like the leftovers, the rejects. That's why you see like a lot of their leagues like Reject League and whatever.
Yeah.
And then they started like coaching different artists and having them submit, and they would work with the artists to put out the hats. And then eventually it just got way too crazy and way too busy with all the other stuff. But when the world shut down with the pandemic,
yeah,
that meant sports shut down. So for them, their business got cut off. Like no one knew when we were like, I don't know, flashback. I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago, but like no one knew how long that would last for. We weren't even allowed in public. So they had to bring back Clink Room as a means to saving their business. So instead of laying off their whole like staff and whatever, they brought back the Clink Room. Wow. And that kind of saved their business. So now
that's literally when I started following them, was like really right in the middle of like the pandemic. You know, I just had my position with the company I was working for eliminated at that point, and then my buddy was like sending me, he's like, hey, check out this company, like they're, you know, they do like crowdsourced logos and stuff. And I remember like those first logos and stuff that were kind of coming out. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I would like follow them and stuff, but it took me probably almost a year before I first submitted something to them.
Yeah. Yeah. So they dealt with that. And that allowed them to make payroll and kind of keep their company going. And then eventually like the Delta variant hit, and then production completely stopped. And then that kind of got crazy. But now they're thriving. So it's an amazing story.
Yeah, it's been a huge come around, and it's been like just being part of like the 2.0 process has been kind of like, it's cool, like being part of like helping a company that's like kind of coming up like that, you know, being part of that process, and you know the creative side of it. I would say, you know, the coolest part too is like, you know, having your artwork on something like that, you know, hundreds of people, you know, walk around with, you know, even if they don't wear it and they just have it on a collection and they're just trying to keep dust off the thing, you know, it's very humbling to kind of like to be part of this. And, you know, I'm super grateful for Casey and for the Clink Room, and, you know, everybody that kind of follows and, you know, gives me support and ideas. And, you know, sometimes I'm not always the most friendly because I'm not a very social guy. I kind of hate social media sometimes, but you know, I'm super grateful for where I'm at, and, you know, for everybody that's along for the ride with me, for sure.
It's an amazing platform for artists to kind of reach, you know, like people that would have never seen their art. And even just if you make it, don't make it, whatever, like your art's still being seen by thousands of people. And I think they don't get enough credit for that. And being so pro artist, I think like that's why this show is really important to do for me to kind of shine a light further on the artist to kind of get to know everyone on a more personal level. So any artists that haven't been featured yet, you know, is just not, it's not personal, it's not anything like that. I'm just working through a small list, and if you want to be featured, you know, open invitation. I won't say no to anybody.
Yeah, I think people proactively reaching out to you too, like if they want to be on it, at the same time though, it is your show, so
I haven't said no to anybody. So whoever wants to come and break through, or even if you're someone that, you know, submits to Clink and hasn't made a hat yet, I'll still interview you. I'll interview super fans, people who just like to buy Clink hats. I don't care, you know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a cool, show to have. Like, have a few people that are, just super fans overall. Like, not even necessarily artists. Like, maybe even like Creature Zoid, or some of those other guys that do the Monday Morning Critz. Maybe you guys can collaborate like a big show all together one night.
Oh, we got something in the works. Yeah, Creature's definitely been on the show.
Has he?
Yeah.
Not see that one.
Yeah, he's definitely.
My bad.
All the Monday Evening Critz guys have been on the show. They've all been here.
Okay.
They're always welcome to come back. But yeah, we're working on. We won't talk too loudly about that, but we're working on something. To kind of meld the universes and do something more interactive and fun. But we're just putting the final details on that. And but yeah, like everyone's welcome, man. It's just one of those things where it's like a small community, but then it's a lot larger because there's a lot of people that participate in the community but just don't say anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of followers too, people that are just even engaging in the actual post itself. Like, there's tons of people that buy the hats that don't say anything too. So
exactly.
Just being thankful for everybody that's out there for sure.
Exactly. For sure.
So what about you, Lode? Like, where did your whole hat journey get started? Because I know you have, the like your own brand and stuff too going on. So how did that all get started?
It started through sports. So,
okay.
I mean, I'd always been wearing hats and whatever. I didn't know that like custom hats was a thing. So I had started working for a company called Multiview, and it was like a media sales advertising kind of company. So their head office is in Irving, Texas, and the buyer for us was also the buyer for Jerry Jones. So she worked for the Cowboys. So Multiview would have these things where we would win, like they call them spiffs. So it's like like money that you could use within the company to buy Multiview stuff. So like they had like custom polos, jackets, mugs, whatever. They call them M-Bucks. So she would just be like finding different vendors to put the Multiview logo on. But one of the buyers, so she was a buyer, so she was able to have access to the New Era account for Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. So they had made hats for the softball team. So that softball team, our colors were royal, but New Era had sent us navy. So us being in Canada, they were supposed to send the hats back, but the New Era didn't want them or something. So they sent us the wrong colored hats. So we ended up playing one year with like navy hats. So then the coach ends up getting fired. I end up assuming the coach duties. So I take the hat and I start going to New Era's like team equipment people. I'm like, hey, I'm the coach for Multiview Canada. Here's our hat. Can I submit you this year's new one? They're like, yeah, sure. I'm like, oh, okay, that was easy. So then I started making hats for the softball team, and we played all types of sports: softball, baseball, volleyball, basketball. So I would just come up with all these different like just excuses to make new hats and new jerseys. So I'd launched a jersey company with a coworker, and we started doing the hats. And I just posted them online, and people were like, yo, let me buy that hat. I'm like, you want to wear my softball hat? Like, what the fuck? And it started like that, and I just started finding other excuses to make hats. Like, well, yeah, I need a Chinese New Year hat, or I need a whatever hat, and it just kind of spawned from there. And then eventually, I worked my way up to. I had been making so many hats. The rep was like, hey, you should start your own website, and we'll say you're a vendor and whatever. And then that's when I teamed up with Tony, so Tony Ross, the Illustrator, and I was like, hey, I have this opportunity. You want to start this company? And he's like, yeah, I'm down. So we've just been making hats ever since. And
That's
he's
cool.
like a super talented, amazing artist that I commissioned him on a couple pieces. And I'm like, because if I knew I started a hat company, I like the collaborative effort, but I can't draw. So I was like,
Yeah.
am I going to need to pay an artist for every single logo? I'm like, nah, just let's work together. We'll make this company. And he's such a skilled artist that I knew, like, if I teamed up with him, like, we would just go crazy. And he's an amazing artist and a great partner. And we're on opposite sides of the earth. Like, I'm in Toronto, he's in Simi Valley, California.
Oh shit.
But
Okay.
we make it work. It's a two person company. We're coming on 5 years, hundreds of hat designs later.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you still working like a 9 to 5 too, or is that just like your
like this content creation and hat design and whatever is kind of took over.
Yeah.
Fortunately, but I get to do what I love all the time.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't trade it in for anything.
I wish I had the the fortitude to be able to go on with something like that.
That's the problem with hats, right? Like, owning a hat company and doing hats, like, people think, oh yeah, it must be nice. Like, you're never rich, because like you need to buy more stock. So like, let's say like today, if you do a couple $1,000s, like, all right, cool, but you need to order a couple more $1,000s worth of product, and it keeps
That's how it was with those pins. Like, I just had to constantly keep buying, new supply.
Yeah.
And then people would like place an order and then immediately be emailing me, hey, when are you going to ship it out? Like, bro, like,
it's a lot.
Give me like 2 minutes. Like,
yeah.
Jesus. And then like, but yeah, like, you're always like having to like ship this out. And I was like, there was some months where I was pulling in like $5 or $6 just off of pins, but then I'm having to churn out like so much other stuff. And then, I'm listening too much to what people are telling me they want. And then, nobody ends up buying them, but like 2 or 3 people. So it's like, who am I gonna do?
It's gambling, man. It's
gambling.
Exactly.
Like, it is. It's a huge gamble. And it's, that's where I went back to like having the 9 to 5, because it's just, the company that I work for too, there's nobody else that like really puts out the kind of benefits that they do, the amount of time off I get, they pay for schooling if I want to go to it as well. So it's just, being able to do that and still have the free time to kind of still do this as like a side project, because, we're paying off, credit card bills. We're keeping, ourselves able to travel and do stuff just based off of, me doing a few hours of doodling every night, so it's been a great experience.
Life is really expensive right now.
Yeah.
Like, I know we're preaching to the choir.
I never imagined that I'd have to do, or not even like have to do it, but like, I always knew that if I had to do something as like a side hustle, it was just going to be something I needed to do, that I was going to be passionate about, because I can't go deliver freaking pizzas on my time off. Like, I'd just be miserable doing something like that. So I get to sit on my couch and, smoke pot, doodle, play some video games, take a break, watch some video, watch some YouTube. Other than that, it's cool. I really like it. I'm glad I found the Clink Room for sure.
Awesome. So where can people find you and find your art?
Mostly just my Instagram, Design with Jake. Other than that, like, I post like paintings and stuff on there sometimes. I've got one that I've been working on, but primarily when I'm focusing on doing the Clink Room logos, it's just mostly been logos coming out. So stay tuned. I might finish that little mushroom guy in the forest thing at some point, but yeah, mostly just on Instagram is where I hang out. I try to avoid Facebook and stuff.
Yes, Facebook's become a weird portal, and we won't get into it too much, but yeah. People get really aggressive on Facebook. I think.
I read something somewhere. It's like, if you ever want to know like which one of your family members is a racist, just go to Facebook.
There you go. But Jake, man, it's been awesome kicking in with you for the last hour plus. Can't thank you enough, and it's great to have a kind of like a personal relationship with you now. Like, I've known you a couple of years virtually, but first time we actually got to sit down and chop it up. So. Awesome.
I'm kind of one of those, ADHD. My wife says I'm a Gemini too. So like, we won't talk for months, and then all of a sudden 6 months later, be like, hey man, how's it going? How you doing? Miss you, kind of a thing.
I don't know what none of those horoscopes mean or whatever. Like, all right, yeah.
That's her whole thing is like, that's how Geminis are, man.
Okay. Apparently. But all right, man. Thank you for your time. Yeah, reminder to everyone, just subscribe to the channel and like the video, and make sure you guys follow Jake and his future stuff, and keep an eye out if you pre-ordered his last hat. I think it's shipping soon. So for Leon and Jake, we're out of here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Peace.
Have a good one.
With iron fist plus 6 is just a moment till you bleed. He lords over his purview from the depths, he'll hurt you. Establishing ownership by splitting wigs if you miss your.
Brought to you by VFTV.